Hi, and welcome to this edition of Prepper Dan on the Road. Join me as we go to Sussex, New Brunswick to meet up with Patrick and Eliza of Rainbow Seeds, who've partnered with us with Action for Canada. We're going to get a tour of their facilities, and let me tell you, they're well stocked with a lot of seeds this time of year. And we're also going to get a crash course on how to properly store seeds for the long term. So it's going to be an exciting adventure. So let's hit the road and let's head up to New Brunswick for this exciting adventure. I'm glad you're with us today. All right, welcome friends to another episode of Prepper Dan. And I'm here today in Sussex, New Brunswick with
Patrick.
Eliza.
And we're going to be doing a special episode with you folks today. And Rainbow Seeds has partnered with Action for Canada. And they have a huge selection of heirloom non-GMO seeds. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that in just a little bit. We're going to give you a little tour in a bit. But we're going to be talking about preserving your seeds for long term. And it's such an important topic. And it's something that I've been wondering about because a lot of times, you get a lot of seeds in your packets and you're not going to use them all, maybe because you have a smaller garden. But so I'm going to turn this over to Patrick. And we're going to move the camera over a little bit, but we've got some beautiful looking seeds here. And we're going to learn how we can preserve these for the long run. Okay? So let's just move things around and we'll get going. Okay, Patrick. So I see you've got some equipment here. This looks like a vacuum sealer, right? So why would it be important to preserve seeds in a vacuum sealer?
Well, a lot of our customers that buy the heirloom seeds from us, they say, how do we store these seeds until it's time to put them out into the garden? And most of the time we say put them into a plastic container, not at the floor level because humidity goes towards the floor, right around waist level, in a cool spot of their house. So maybe it's a pantry on the north side of their house, but we never had a perfect solution for everybody. Some people are in an apartment, they have controlled temperatures. Maybe their apartment is just 75 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius throughout the entire apartment, and they don't have a good solution. So just, one day we're thinking, well, the vacuum seal option is neat to keep moisture from getting at the seeds. And there's one of the sprouting seed companies on their website. It says you can store your seeds in the freezer and the refrigerator. And we found this interesting. So we said, well, how can we do that with the vacuum sealer? And perhaps even preserve them for a long time. So Seed Savers Exchange, which is a great company in the United States, it's a nonprofit, and they preserve heirloom seeds. And they were putting onion seeds into a refrigeration unit. This was really neat. They were storing onion seeds, which typically last for about 1 year. They can germinate after 1 year of storage, typical storage, but they were able to keep those onion seeds so they could store for several years. Yeah, so basically, Seed Savers Exchange was doing a video on how to store onion seeds for a long time. So we said, okay, what are the different uses for this? We not only solved a problem with the vacuum sealing the seeds to say preserve onion seeds for an extra year or two, but also if somebody's prepping for what's happening in the world right now, maybe they just want an insurance policy on being able to garden if supply chain breaks down. If we see supply chain controls, if we see people coming in and speculating on seeds, we get phone calls all the time from New York City, the Middle East, everywhere. And these calls are, we want all your seeds. They just want to, they're speculating that these heirloom seeds are going to be worth more money, or maybe it's just wealthy buyers, and they're doing the same thing. They're thinking, okay, we will vacuum seal them, and that's it, right? So that's what we're working on, anyways. And today we're going to show that.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to demonstrate. How to vacuum seal bean and pea seeds. The reason why we're going with beans and peas is because these seeds are not sharp in any way. And what you're going to see right here is when you vacuum seal the seeds, it really gets tight and right on the seeds. And if you have a sharp seed, like there's one little spot right there where one of the sharp seeds actually poked through the plastic. And so if you do that, you're going to lose your vacuum seal. The seeds can be exposed to moisture, and we don't want that to happen. So when you're vacuum sealing your seeds, we are looking for mainly the seeds that don't have any sharp edges. And if they do have sharp edges, what you should do is just put something in the package to almost like cushion that seed. You know, maybe a couple pieces of paper or cardboard or something like this when you go to vacuum seal it.
Right.
So,
okay. That's good advice.
Yeah. So now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip these over. You can do that one. And this one. Okay, so now we're going to put them right beside each other. The reason why we're going to apply tape to this, the reason why we're doing it is so when we put it into the vacuum seal bag, they're not all falling apart and kind of just being a real mess. So we just put that tape across there.
So does it make a difference if they're in plastic bags like that, or if they're in paper packets?
No,
okay.
No difference. Yep. Okay, so we have two pieces of tape going that way, and then we do two this way. It's just to keep it just all together. Let's see if this works now. You want to maybe get on that end, and let's flip it towards you. Okay, so now it's kind of holding together better. We did the same thing with this, and you can use double-sided tape or whatever.
Okay.
But really, you don't have to do that. You could just do a stack of seed packs. It's
right.
not going to matter how thick it is. We do it like this because if we want to mail this to somebody, we can put it in an envelope like this, and there we go.
Gotcha, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so it fits, so it's easy. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do here.
So this vacuum sealer, is this something that can be picked up locally, or?
Yeah, we won't say the company that sells it, but anybody can buy it anywhere. So we look for whatever supplies that we can always get, right? So like we don't want to get say a vacuum sealer from an obscure company that almost nobody's ever heard of.
Right.
We want a best of breed type company that we're buying this from, so that we can always get these same bags. And if we need to, sometimes people use a couple of these. It's actually beneficial while one's warming up.
Yeah.
You can do the other one and seal that one, and then switch over here. So, like for example, we might have orders 280 vacuum sealed bags, and we want it to be a quick process. We don't want it to take a week to do it. So if we can get that done in a day or two, this is really beneficial. So having multiple vacuum sealers is good. All right, so we're going to measure So usually we go, it's about an inch over the edge from this seam. So we have a seam right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
There's the seam. So that's where this is going to go into. And then we want to measure about like an inch beyond, you know, a couple centimeters at least. So we're at about, actually we could go to 37 right there. And even if we look at this, we're at about 35, but we can fold over the edges if we need to ship it. So that works. Now for what we're using this for, say this is to go in your refrigerator or freezer. So this is for like long-term storage. So you don't have to focus so much on the envelope. This would you just take this, throw it in your freezer or throw it in your fridge, maybe in your crisper, and you could, you know, double protect it, throw it in a Ziploc if you want. Keep it from getting light. The things that affect germination on seeds: light, temperature, and moisture.
Okay.
So you block that moisture, you block that, you know, humidity, keep that temperature low. Some seeds actually cannot be frozen. Most of those seeds are around the equator. So so this was 30, let's see, 35? Yep, 35. All right, so let's bring that up. What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
You got it? Okay. That lever there is what cuts the bag.
Okay.
So now we've got our bag size. Just flip this sideways. And you can kind of pull on that bag to get it all in there. Let's put this one in a little bit further. There we go. So they're both lined up here. So that gives us our roughly 1 inch over where we want to seal it. Did we go far enough? Go in further? Okay, so there's a lever on the side, and we're just clicking that into place.
Right.
And
being a vacuum sealer, it's going to suck all the air out.
that's it. There it goes. How'd it do? Did it do it enough? Maybe, I mean, it's definitely good enough. Maybe the envelope or the bag. Let's see if it, no, we got the seal right above it.
All right, and then it burns the top to seal it shut.
Yeah, it just heats that
Yeah.
line. But we barely, like, you can see the bag, we barely got it below. So I think we needed to go just a teeny bit longer.
Yeah.
You can always trim these edges
Right.
after. And are these resealable?
You can reseal them if you have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it
Yeah.
does a nice job. So this is good enough for storage for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
This will probably last you 50 years in a refrigerator.
Okay.
Like
That's longer than I will be around.
yeah. I mean, so many uses for long-term storage of seeds. So what we came up with, we said, all right, so we're going to take our heirloom seed varieties, our open pollinated, so you can save those seeds, and we're going to do a seed bank.
Okay.
And we're going to let everybody have a seed bank instead of depending on somebody else to have a seed bank.
Okay.
So we'll just offer all the different varieties, and we'll do, you know, some that are all heirlooms because some people want all heirlooms.
Right.
We'll do others that are just like this one is herbal teas, all the different herbal teas.
Nice.
And this is our best seller this year. And some people, you know, they're making money from doing herbal teas, but you know, if supply chain goes down, and what tea are you going to get?
Yeah.
You're not going to get black tea from India.
That's right.
That's the end of that, right?
Now,
so,
Patrick, can you grow herbal teas indoors, or do they have to be grown outdoors?
oh yeah, absolutely indoors.
Okay.
The fennel is going to be a little bit bigger though, right? So the borage is going to be very big,
Okay.
right? That plant is about, I don't know, 2.5 feet tall. So you know, probably a greenhouse would be good for the fennel and the borage, stuff like the lemon balm, bee balm. You
Yep.
could do those in a house plant.
Yeah. Okay.
Peppermint, you could do that. Probably in a greenhouse. That's probably going to come up 2.5 feet tall.
Okay.
Also. Yeah, and you know, some of these, even though they might be annuals, it's not going to matter. If you're growing them indoors, you have the right amount of light. So, you know, a lot of people, they bring in house plants. They want to make more oxygen in their house and all of this. They want to clean the air.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the plant producing more oxygen, all you do is have a strong light on it more hours of the day.
Yeah.
So if you want, let's see, 24 hours in a day, so it has to be more than 12 hours. So it's producing oxygen more than carbon dioxide.
Okay. Okay. One other thing I'd like you to discuss a little bit, Patrick, is seed sprouting. I know I've had off and on luck with seed sprouting, and I know that there's probably a right way of doing it. And your wife was just showing me this very fancy little jar that you have here. So tell me a little bit about this. What are some tips that you would give? Because I purchased your seed sprouting packet, and I know it's always nice to have some fresh sprouts to put on your, I call my ham and cheese sandwich.
Right.
Give it that crunch. So what's a good way to do sprouts?
Well, there's a few things you need to know. So say it's pea sprouts. You're using just standard peas. My wife's bringing yellow peas. This is what we use here. So here's standard yellow peas. Now, these actually have a higher germination on the second year after harvest.
Okay.
So we have a friend, he's in his 80s, he's retired now. He was doing peas and beans, and he was explaining to us that they have pores that allow the water to come in, and these pores open up over time as the seed ages. So second year, better germination. So you don't really need to worry too much about the germination getting worse for peas so much in the first, say, 4 years.
Okay.
Right? They're going to do well. The other thing is, if it is a first year pea and those pores are tight, right, your germination is going to be slower.
Okay.
So what I was saying before, what affects germination, temperature, moisture, light. With sprouts, microgreens, actually they don't need that light for the first, I think it's 3 or 4 days. So they don't need it. It actually, I think they produce better. What they do is for sprouting trays is they'll cover a tray with sprouting seeds, water it, and then put a tray on top of it to actually block the light. So the light is not necessary. If anything, having no light for the first couple days is going to benefit the sprouting. The other thing, it needs a good soaking. So yeah, I've heard 12 hours, but yeah, it's not like that. So when we're soaking seeds to go out into the garden, if we're soaking those seeds for 2 hours, warm water, you're not going to want to use cold water.
Okay.
It should be warm water. If we're soaking them for more than 2 hours, by the time I get done telecasting those seeds out in the garden, they're already starting to get mushy. And so it's going to be the same thing for sprouting. So in my opinion, I would say 2 to 3 hours. That's your soak time. And so yeah, so there's going to be a repeat of that. So, but for different purposes. This is for germination purposes. These seeds are going to go into this jar. You're going to fill that jar with water, and that's your soak time. And the jar just stays straight up and down like that, and the peas are soaking in water. Once your 2-3 hours is done, then there's a drainage point on the jar,
Right.
and you put this either in your sink or somewhere where the water can drain out, and then those seeds will get a chance to germinate. If you have if you have a light bulb or something that you could put on them, warmth speeds up that germination.
Okay.
So what happens is the warmer the temperature, the faster the germination, but your germination rate goes down. So say you take your time and you want this to germinate, say in a day or two, and you're just keeping it at 65 Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. So you're going to get a higher germination rate. Maybe it's going to be anywhere between 95, 100%, right? It's going to be right in there. But if you put some like a heat lamp or something on it, it's going to germinate real fast, but your germination rate might go down to say 92 to 95%. It's not going to be huge swings, but the temperature will speed it up, but you won't get as many germinating. That's pretty much the way it is with all the seeds that we deal with. Funnily enough, our tomato seeds, people would think that they need to have a warmer temperature to germinate. We do our germination test at 55 Fahrenheit, 14 degrees Celsius for tomatoes.
Okay. Now, for sprouting seeds, can you mix different seeds at the same time? Or do you recommend just doing one variety?
Yeah. So we have crunchy bean mix.
Yeah.
And you can. Yeah, it's got lentils in it.
You
peas,
can mix them
beans.
Okay.
Yeah. You mix them all together. Not a problem. But so say you have. All right, we have peas and we have beans. So the peas are a cold weather crop.
Mm-hmm.
The beans are not.
Right.
So these can germinate at a lower temperature, whereas the beans don't typically.
Okay.
So one of the biggest mistakes people make with, say, grow towers is they'll put lettuce on their grow tower and maybe a warmer crop. I don't know. I'll just say peppers. I don't think people are growing peppers in their grow tower, but I'm just going to use that extreme. The lettuce, you can throw lettuce seeds on the snow,
Mm-hmm.
and as soon as that snow melts, those lettuce are going to start to sprout, right? You can't do that with pepper seeds. And so when you grow them in a grow tower, you've got a very steady temperature. It might be warmer, it might be 75, 80 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius, somewhere around there. And you're going to get different germinations. It's not going to work, right? You're going to want to try to have similar germination temperatures, similar crops.
Okay.
try not to mix your cold weather crops with your hot weather crops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Eggplants like that too.
Yeah.
Needs heat.
Patrick, tell me about people ordering seeds from Rainbow Seeds through Action for Canada.
Right. Yeah. So we're very fortunate to be able to support Action for Canada. This is incredible. We were thinking about, doing stuff with YouTube channels and stuff like that. But when I met Dan, almost like a light bulb went off. We said, "Wow, we can almost share our company." Right. That's what we're doing. So if we give Dan a 10% coupon to offer to everybody on the Action for Canada network, and when this happens, we'll get that order from these people, and we know where they came from. Came from Dan's YouTube channel, or it came from Action from Canada, other videos that they've produced, and we keep track of it. And 40% of that revenue of the subtotal, right? We don't give them 40% of the GST we collect or the shipping, but 40% of that revenue we then pass over as a marketing cost for us, but it actually supports Action for Canada, which is brilliant. It's kind of nice. We were wondering, my wife and I were wondering, how do we transition our company? Sometimes you get tied up in business, and getting tied up in business is, I don't know. It's not fun. I never really liked business.
Yeah.
But when you can use your business for good causes like this, yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate the partnership. So at checkout in the coupon box, people just write Action for Canada, and I will have that link in the description down below in this video. And I tell you, I've ordered, I think, 2 orders from Patrick so far. All my seeds have germinated wonderfully. We have a tower garden in our home, and so all of our lettuces are being replenished as we speak. I have a greenhouse, so all my tomatoes and my peppers are going to be going in there in the next few weeks because it's getting warmer already in there. And I tell you, we're just going to do a quick walk around here in just a minute. But this is like a hardware store, except even better. All right,
it's a candy store.
Yeah, candy store.
For seeds,
but we do appreciate you, Patrick, and Eliza, for what you're doing with us and for us, but also for this. I've had a 56-acre farm before, 200-acre farm, and a 36-acre farm, and I've farmed and for a number of years. I had a lot of children, and they like to eat. But I also instilled in them the value of putting a seed in the ground, having it die, but come back to life and produce. And God's always blessed us with good gardens, great gardens. And, we've always grown food for our animals as well. Because you know what? You put the hard work into it. And like even a few years ago, we planted our greenhouse. It's an unheated greenhouse. We put root crops in there. Because it was not heated, we didn't get much growth in the root crops, but the beets and the carrots and the parsnips, that went to the rabbits and to the chickens, so it still benefited them. So, but thank you so much for your time, for your expertise in showing us how to preserve seeds for 50 years at least. That put me...
Depends on the variety.
Yeah.
If it's onions, maybe.
All right, so we're going to do a quick tour here in just a minute, but thank you so much, folks, for having us. So. We're going to sign off here from Sussex, New Brunswick, and do a quick tour. So thank you again so much, both of you, for what you do, for your ministry here, and God bless you both.
Thanks.
I spent some time with Patrick and Eliza going through their warehouse afterwards. I got to tell you, the orders that I got from them were just amazing, and I'm really enjoying having the tomatoes and the peppers growing right now, getting ready to put them in my greenhouse. The packets of seeds that you get from Rainbow Seeds are large packets. And recently, I had run out of one particular product that I purchased locally. The packet was almost $4, and it contained about maybe 1/3 of the seeds that you would get from Rainbow Seeds. The nice thing about Rainbow Seeds as well is, for example, if you like to grow tomatoes, they have specials on. So if you want, for example, tomatoes, you can get 13 packets of different varieties of tomatoes for $20. And anything over $25 in your order is free shipping. Patrick was telling me that October, November, December is their highest months of orders. So if you have people in your life that you really don't know what to buy for, you know what, consider purchasing some seeds for them, invest in their life. And it makes a nice gift any time of year. And so again, if you type in Action for Canada in the coupon box, you'll get 10% discount, and anything over $25 is free shipping. And so these folks are very well stocked. Their shipping is super fast from Sussex, New Brunswick. They ship all over Canada. So again, just to see all of the different varieties that Rainbow Seed carries, they have a lot of different varieties. They are so well stocked. They have a lot of inventory on stock, and a lot of their very special heirloom varieties sell out fairly quickly. But if you're into flowers, cut flowers, heirloom flowers, teas, they offer various packets. And as I mentioned before, their packets are very large packets, very well stocked indeed. And as I'm just walking through here, their tomatoes especially, I know that I grow some tomatoes in my greenhouse. I grow some outdoors as well. And this is the place for you to place your order. I've ordered from different companies before as well in Canada here. I've had decent success with some of them, but the fact that these are heirloom and non-GMO, that really appeals to me. We have a tower garden in our home, and we grow different things. Now here's some kale, for example. Now I don't particularly like kale, but my wife put some kale leaves last year in our commercial sized dehydrator, and she put some spices on them and made some kale chips. And let me tell you, that was a nice little treat. So the kale that we have growing right now from Rainbow Seed is doing wonderful. We actually have 2 of our trays in there that are growing the kale.